Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is CC coming at you this morning with the CC pre-forecast Forex news coming up for the week ahead. I think today is Sunday, March 19th, so we're looking at March 20th through 25 of 2023. Now, the first thing I'm going to do today is go to Forex Factory, and we're going to analyze what the high impact these red folders is for the week, okay? Because depending on your trading style, you either want to stay away from these red folders, so any kind of currency pair with USD or CHF or GBP, and we'll go up and look. Let's go up. Let's see. That's Thursday. Let's go on down to Friday. Lots. This is going to be a very, very good week to trade. Depending on your trading style. Very good week. Very good week. We got GBP, USD, Euro, CAD. Should be a lot of volatility this week. A lot of good trading opportunities. If you're a news trader, you go to forexfactory.com and you can look at the news that's going to come out. And it'll give you the time. You can go over here and set your time zone up. It's 8:58 in Texas right now. You can set that up so that your time and these times over here match, okay? If you don't, it'll tell you a time over here and it won't be the same time as your time, okay? So be sure and get the times matched up. Okay, so that's how you do that. You go up here to calendar. Now while we're in Forex Factory, let me walk you through here. You can look at brokers, you can look at the market, the calendar. The calendar is what I look at. You got your days over here broke up. Sunday, we got some low impact news coming out this afternoon. Market opens at 4 in Texas, Central Time. So anyway, tonight we'll be asleep, and about 2 in the mornings when the Euro session cranks up, and they'll be cranking up with some German news and trade balance news and more German news, trade balance, so forth and so on. But you can get all the news and you can get it at the exact time when it comes out. It tells you 7:30 p.m., 2 a.m. right here. You can be here watching it 7:30 or whatever time yours is, and it will come right over here. Now you can find out from right here what that news is going to do or can do. It'll tell you it'll tell you some things about the news. All right, what it does, how it works, and then you've got a forecast, and then you got the previous, and then you got the actual. The actual is what you're waiting for. So if the forecast is negative 1.3, the previous was negative 1.0, okay, you need to figure out which direction this is going. Let's go straight across here. This is PPI MI. Let's go over here and let's have a look and see what this folder tells us about PPI MI. And I'm going to show you how to read this news. Let's go right over here. I was at the wrong folder. I can't see through my phone. Okay, now this comes up with all the data. Okay. You can see right here the last, February 17th, 2023. A red number is always a bad number. So they were forecasting a 0.2 and it went negative 1. Okay, so you can see it was a very negative number. That day, the euro would have went down, okay? But they had other numbers here as well, maybe that same day, so you don't know. But this is just a general way to read the news. So you got the actual number, and you could have been watching that as it come out. And if there was no other news coming out that day for the euro, then that would have been a negative number. Now, you might have had 5 or 6 more numbers coming out at the same time, and 2 or 3 might have been green, and you got to learn what kind of impacts that these news have. But since it went down and got a red number, usually red numbers are always going to push the market down. I mean, for that pair. Now, if you would have been trading the Euro USD that day, since the Euro is first, then that would have been a sell opportunity, possibly, depending on however many numbers were coming out for it and how many numbers were coming out for the US dollar. So you've got to look at pairs that just affect one pair at a time is the way I do it. I mean, I'm not going to be looking at a pair that's going to have news coming out for the dollar that day and for the euro that day at different times. If it all came out at the same time and everything matched up, maybe. But I just deal with one news release for one part of the pair. Like I'll find something to trade, Euro USD only if the euro is going to have major high impact news. The dollar does not for that day. The dollar may have something coming out 3 days later, 4 days later, but not that day and not the next day. And then you got to set your trades accordingly. Okay, that's how that works. So I'm going to pause this right now and analyze the market so I can give y'all my week forecast. Go read some news and see what's going on, okay? I'll be back in a minute. You guys never know. But that's Forex Factory. Now, you can come up and look at other things. You can go to forums, and they actually give you trades in there, news. This is a good place to come. Good place to come. All right, guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come over here to the DXY on the 4 hour, and I'm going to take a look at it. Yeah, we just went down. It's kind of in some consolidation right now on the short term, but it is definitely on a downtrend, and it's getting down real close to the 100, okay? It has dropped a lot. It has dropped considerably. Not long ago, it was way up around 117, 116, 112. Highest I've ever seen it. Let me go over here and let's. Well, I'm gonna have a hard time doing that, so I'm trying to hold this camera with one hand. But if you wanted to take a look, let me tell you while I got you here. This is how you zoom in on something. If you wanted to zoom in on that one candle right there is a 4 hour candle, the red one. It's closed. It started up there at the top. That wick might have went up on the buy a little bit, and then it started going down, 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 and then it pushed up a little bit. That'll tell you a story. Okay, so it was falling down pretty good bit. Now then, this blue candle opened, and then it might have pushed down a little bit, and then it started going up, and then it's pushing back down. So all this tells you a story. Now, we don't know how much longer the blue candle has before it closes, because it takes 4 hours to close each one of these candles. But if you wanted to go look at the blue candle, you could go down to your about 30-minute time frame, 15 minute, 30 minute, and you could see what that candle was doing every 15, 30 minutes, every 5 minutes. That's how you use these different time frames. You can zoom in on that one blue candle right there. You got me? So you can see what's going on a little bit better. Some people like to use those lower time frame candles to enter on. I keep my stuff real simple. I use the daily charts to determine the long-term trends. I use the 4 hour charts to determine my entries. Now, if you wanted to get really, really and do some sniping so you could get your stops as tight as you wanted to, you could even scale down to 30 minute or 1 hour. And, there's no need to do all that. There's no need for it. But you can do whatever you want to do. Your trading styles may be different than mine. I just do what works for me and what's easiest, and I don't have to stare at these charts all the time. You know what I mean? I'm going to pause it again because I just wanted y'all to see the DXY, what it's doing. That tells me a story that the dollar's going down. It may pull back up this week. It may continue on down and break that level. I would be watching those levels, but you don't have to know what the DXY is doing. If you're just purely technical trading, I'm just trying to analyze. I'm trying to show y'all how I analyze the market. Don't get started thinking that you've got to do all this stuff to trade Forex. This just increases your probabilities and your knowledge to make educated trades. Okay, I'm just showing you how I do it. Now, I've got a buddy that was trading consolidation last week. I think on a demo account, he made over $80,000 in a workday. Okay, off a $100,000 account. That's amazing. That's good. That's good. There's always consolidation. You'll find big periods of consolidation before news usually. So you could go look at news, and if there's not a lot of news for the week, then you could take that accordingly. Or if there's a lot of news, like this week, a lot of red folders. I don't think there's going to be much consolidation this week on those pairs anyway. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it could be a bumpy ride this week for the traders. I'm just letting you know how I'm reading the markets, and you guys take it how you will, okay? Now then, we looked at the DXY, we looked at the calendar. Now I'm going to go and look at some news. I'll be right back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, next thing you can do, I'll come over here to FX Street and go to analysis and see what they're saying on the news. They're talking about the Euro USD, between a rock and a hard place. The Fed will decide on monetary policy. GBP USD, Fed, BOE, Bank of England, and banking crisis to dictate the next direction. So, so far, we're waiting on news. Gold, 2,000, back in crosshairs, mid-market turmoil. Gold had broke the 2,000 level. I'd predicted that a couple of weeks ago, and it was down at the 1820, 1810 level, and went up $100 to the 2020 level. $100 on gold with a standard lot, and most of you could retire. Okay. FX next week, target Euro, DXY, GBP, JPY odd. I believe they're talking about the next week as in this coming week. I'm pretty sure. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, this site right here is a fantastic site. You can come here. It's fxstreet.com. You can get the rates and charts, news, analysis, economic calendar, cryptos, video, even education, and here they talk about brokers as well. Okay, and then you can come down here and get ticker board news. Now, when the markets kick in gear, Bank of England. Okay, the Bank of England, a 25 point increase next week, not fully priced in interest rate markets. Rabobank, gold price forecast, XAU USD gains more than 3%, approaches 2,000. United States, CFTC, oil NC net positions, 206.9 thousand versus previous. Well, that didn't look like good news. United States CFTC gold NC, 98,000.5 K from previous 107. So you can get some news right here, but that's not the news. I mean, you can get it, but it just depends on what kind of person you are and trader. But I'd come here and look cryptocurrencies. Nothing beats Bitcoin as far as Forex goes, or I call Bitcoin USD Forex because it's against the USD, but really it's a crypto. But Bitcoin bears could face $440 million loss in Friday's options expiry. Bitcoin held in funds drops to lowest since October 2021. Okay, so that's some stuff to take in. I know Bitcoin's just been on the rise. Hadn't really been paying attention to the markets just a whole lot lately. I've got other things going on I've been fighting with. But anyway, let's see. That's about it on this news for right now. But everything I'm seeing in the news is waiting for news to come out. And that's how I trade. I'll wait for the day of the news, and that's when I trade. That's when I enter my trades. And it's going to be a lot of news this week. So it's a lot of potential for a lot of trades. But if it was me, I probably wouldn't get no trades until the news was released, is my opinions. If you do, go look for the forecast and look for the previous and adjust your trading strategies as necessary. If I was going to trade today or tomorrow, I would trade pairs that were moving in a good strong trend and didn't have a lot of high impact news to mess that trend up. But we're going to look, I'm going to look at some pairs that fit that bill. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, back with you. Okay, I'm going to make it easier for you guys. There's a lot of news out this week. People that don't know how to read news need to stay away from the news. It's going to be a very volatile week. I think the beginning of the week's probably going to be kind of stagnated. There's not going to be much movement. Everything's going to be dependent on the news on Wednesday. It's going to be a lot of volatility from Wednesday. So this is what I'm going to do for you guys. I have went and analyzed the markets. I found the pairs that were moving up the most, and I found the pairs moving down the most, the currency. So my analysis is this. Strong shorts. CAD, AUD, NZD. The CAD and the AUD being the two strongest. Those are the markets going down in value. The strongest moving up is the CHF, is the franc, Swiss franc, GBP, JPY. Okay, so that's your long positions. So you want to pair these shorts with these longs. Okay. And my top one is the CAD JPY, a sell. You've got a strong down and a strong up. The CAD's going down, so you want to look at sell opportunities with target areas around the 994.01. I would go a little bit higher than that. I'm going to show you the actual charts on this pair. So we're looking at the CAD JPY. CAD JPY. I'm on the daily. I'm going to switch that real quick over to the 4 hour. I'm going to leave it right where it's at because you won't be able to see where I've got it marked up at. Now, you need to be looking for pullbacks. This is not when you want to enter this market. This is a potential market for you to enter if this pulls back up to that yellow line. You place your stop loss in that area right there, and you wait for it to continue down. Right now, if you were to enter it, it may go down to this level and then bounce back up, so you'd have your money tied up. It will eventually probably break down, but you don't want to do that. You want to wait and watch it this week. These pairs will be minimally affected by the news. They will be affected, but to a minimum level. So I would wait for a pullback on this. This is more of your technical trades. This is more of your non-fundamental drivers affecting this currency pair. So, and they've got a good strong trend, even though they're not having a lot of volatility news this week. So that's my first one. Now you're going to have to wait on this one, but that's a good one. The next one is going to be the AUD JPY. Look for sell opportunities. You need to pull back first and then get in and short it to the 86.23 level. Now, I didn't go all the way to the 86.23. I like to, on these kinds of trades, I like to get mine. You could even go a little higher, but I wouldn't go much because you're going to be messing with your 1-to-2 ratio on your risk to reward. But you want to wait for that candle right there and see if it's going to pull back up to that level. If you do enter right there, you need to drag that stop loss down to the right up in that area somewhere, and it's going to be very risky. Very risky. Very risky, because there's a potential that this is going to pull back up and then go down. And you don't know how high the pullback could be. But we've got lower highs all the way down. So you could enter there. If you do, it's just know it's risky. Leave your stop loss there. Move your take profit on down. And you could ride it out. I advise against that. I would say wait and see if there's a pullback. You got a good chance there may not be a pullback. So you got to enter this trade with knowing that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? I would watch it very closely. And of course, I'm on the 4 hour. 80 AUD JPY. And my next one of choice, I'm just giving you 3 today. I just did a real quick analysis. Is the AUD CHF. The CHF is probably going to be the best performing currency this year. It's very strong. Moving very strongly. So anything that you pair that's a weak currency up against the CHF would be good trading opportunities. Now remember, I'm trying to keep y'all out of the news as much as I can. You can look at the GBP CAD. My number one choice is probably CAD JPY and AUD JPY. You could even look at NZD JPY. But you see how I'm looking at these charts, and I'm looking for some pullbacks. Now, on this one right here, this is the only one that I would consider possibly entering now. And I would wait for some red candle, but it's already pushing down. This is the only one that I would enter now, but I would wait and confirm the market. I would keep a very close eye on this market. Now on this one, I am on the daily, so you could go over to the 4 hour and you could look and see a little better. But this is a good long-term setup for a longer term trade. It's got a nice downtrend. It just dropped a lot of momentum, and it's got a pullback, and it's that's a pretty good pullback for that drop. So I think that she's going to go on down, and that's a good area. That's about where I would go for the week. Maybe a little higher. You might pull it up, go to the 4 hour and look. But that's how I'm analyzing the market this week very quickly for you guys. Otherwise, I'm suggesting watch the news and place your trades. If you know how to trade news, wait for the news. There's a lot of news this week. There's a lot of good opportunities to make a lot of money very, very quickly in a matter of minutes. You can, if you know how to read the news and you understand what the news does and what it's gonna do, you can get in those trades and out of those trades within an hour and make a ton of money very quickly. Very, very quickly. I was playing around a couple weeks ago, just playing. Wasn't over leveraging or anything. I was within my bounds, and I made pretty close. I think it's 11,200 in 43 minutes. I think I've got that trade documented. But all of my trades are pretty much documented. I have an FTMO account. I have offshore accounts. Every one of my trades is documented and verified. Anyway, you guys have a good week. I hope this helps you out. See how I analyze the markets. There's 2 different ways. There's the way you base it on the news and the way you base it on technicals. This week, for you guys that don't understand news, I'm trying to keep you away from that. These are not the highest probability trades because there's no fundamental drivers pushing it, but it's the safest for people that don't understand the fundamentals. And that's my summary of this week's market for you guys. But that's how I analyze it for technicals. And stay away from the news. Find pairs that are not going to be as affected as much, and they're already on a good strong trend. You want to find your currencies that are moving up strongly and moving down strongly and place those together. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you have a good weekend, and hopefully you have a good trading week. Goodbye.